In the headlines, Senator Abdul Ningi backtracks on budget pardon claim as Senate sets up ad hoc committee to investigate public expenditure. Kaduna electricity staff embark on indefinite strike as power shortage continues. Fruits prices surge as Ramadan fast commences. On the foreign scene, Haiti Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigns amidst crisis. Hello and welcome to the Trust TV News Update at this hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again for joining us, and now the news in full. The alleged budget pardon by the Senate on its supposed implementation by the President Bola Tinubu administration seems to be causing a huge division in the nation's upper legislative chamber. Senator Abdul Ningi, who represents Bauchi Central, told reporters on Monday that the interview he granted to BBC Hausa prompted the argument of whether the government is implementing the 28.7 trillion naira budget as passed or 25 trillion naira as reported. Ningi, however, maintained that he did not say that the President Bola Tinubu-led administration was operating two budgets. Not long after Senator Ningi left the podium, his Ondo South counterpart, Jimo Ibrahim, mounted and called on the federal government and the police to charge Ningi with misinformation, insisting that the claims by the Bauchi Central senator were worrisome, totally untrue, divisive, and amounts to criminal misinformation. The presidency had on Sunday, via a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the senator's claim that the National Assembly passed 25 trillion naira as the 2024 budget is false, adding that 28.7 trillion naira was passed and signed into law by President Bola Tinubu.
In the course of our perusing the budget, which Onanuga seems to have dwelt on, I say we have established beyond reasonable doubt about 25 trillion so far has nexus in the budget. That means there is money, and then there is project, and then there is location. Money, project, location. But we are yet to ascertain 3 trillion of that budget.
I have decided, as a senator representing the good people of Ondo South, to ask the Inspector General of Police and the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, charge the two Senator Ningi for misinformation, criminal misinformation, of course, and conduct likely going to cause the breach of peace.
Still with the upper chamber, the Nigerian Senate has inaugurated an ad hoc committee to probe the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari over the 30 trillion naira ways and means advances from the Central Bank of Nigeria, which was approved by the 9th National Assembly. According to the National Assembly, the ways and means advances is a pathway through which the current economic hardship came to be, hence the need to probe it. The report.
Inaugurating the committee on Monday in Abuja, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, noted that unraveling the mystery behind the advances remains key in understanding the country's present predicament.
As it is charged with the investigation of the ways and means of about 30 trillion, including the expenses or otherwise, utilization, success, or failures of the Anchor Borrowers Program. To the members of this esteemed committee, I implore you to approach your responsibilities with the utmost sense of patriotism, professionalism, and integrity.
According to Akpabio, the success of the investigative panel hinges on collaboration, cooperation, and steadfast commitment for the benefit of Nigerians. He charged the committee to leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of the truth about 30 trillion naira ways and means loans advances. The event, which took place at the National Assembly complex, had in attendance Deputy Senate President Senator Barrow Jibrin, other senators, Minister of Finance and Coordination, Minister of Economy Wale Edun, Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria Yemi Cardoso, and Minister Budget and Economic Planning Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, among others. Responding, the chairman of the 17-member committee, Isa Jibrin, assured that the probe will be carried out with precision and pursued to a logical conclusion.
Various discussions, the ways and means and the anchor borrower schemes have aroused various forms of discussions amongst individuals and groups, with groups and individuals giving their opinions and interpretations. Your Excellency, the implication of this is that Nigerians are waiting for the result of this investigation. I want to assure you that we are going to carry out this assignment expeditiously, but without any form of compromise.
The ad hoc committee has 6 weeks to investigate the 30 trillion naira ways and means advances, as well as the 10 trillion naira expended on the Anchor Borrowers Program, among other intervention programs.
And on to labor matters. The National Union of Electricity Employees, Kaduna State Council, has disclosed plans to embark on an indefinite strike starting at 12 midnight on Tuesday over issues concerning non-remittance of pension, promotions, among others. The union, in a notice sent to the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress in Kaduna and signed by the Secretary, Comrade Ado Ali, accused the management of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company of non-remittance of pension contribution to over 3,000 staff to the RSA accounts for over 72 months. Responding, the management of Kaduna Electric, though through its head, Corporation Communication, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, said the action by NUEE is completely unjustified and should be condemned by all well-meaning Nigerians. He noted that since assumption of office in January 2024, the administrator has demonstrated willingness to work with the unions to move Kaduna Electric forward. Also, some former employees of the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education stormed the Government House gate in Port Harcourt, asking the River State government to pay them their 9-month salaries and reinstate them. The group were sacked after the government detected discrepancies in their recruitment process. Let's take a look at the report.
During the protests, the former employees expressed grief and anger at the manner their employments were terminated without getting paid throughout the 9 months they were engaged. Spokesperson of the protesters say that apart from asking for their unpaid salaries, they are also demanding that the government reinstate them.
Us to come and pick our various appointment letters. We have come. We came and we picked our appointment letters. We worked for 9 months. In this period of 9 months, several things happened. People in the private sector have to resign because they've gotten government jobs that is sustainable, where they can put in their best to improve the state.
Responding to protesters, Rivers State Head of Civil Service says the cancelled employment process at the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education due to intolerable irregularities will be revisited and the process restarted. He said a new governing council is now in place to oversee the process and ensure elimination of the irregularities that hampered the previous process.
There's a particular level that every person was supposed to be placed, and that was approval that His Excellency gave. Now, at the end of the day, they employed 1,800 and something people, almost 3 times the number that was given to them to employ. And they brought all of you for biometrics. Now, when they brought the number of people now that were to be payrolled, they brought less than that.
The head of service urged the protesters to organize themselves properly so that it will be easy to interface with them when the employment process recommences, because only qualified persons will be employed within the stipulated number.
We'll move over now to the southwestern part of the country and now to a sad development. One person was reported dead, while 5 others sustained varying degrees of injury in a lone accident that occurred along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Tuesday. The spokesperson for the Ogun State Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Florence Okpe, confirmed the incident. According to Okpe, 23 persons were involved in the accident that occurred around the Fidewo axis of the expressway. Okpe, while blaming the cause of the accident on tire burst and overspeeding, urged motorists to exercise caution when driving on the expressway. As Muslims world over commence the Ramadan fast this Monday, Muslim faithful in Nigeria are fasting under an economic meltdown and harsh weather conditions in the country. Against this backdrop, Muslim leaders have emphasized the need to imbibe the spirit of compassion by supporting the poor in line with the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Hamido Yegbade files this report.
The holy month of Ramadan in the Islamic lunar calendar 1445 begins on Monday, March 11, 2024 with the sighting of the moon on Sunday evening. In Nigeria, fasting Muslims would have to endure the current harsh weather condition and the economic hardship in the country.
Global warming has created a very difficult harsh condition across the world, and this will have a snowball effect on the fasting Muslims. Therefore, scholars need to educate the people on the type of food they have to take during this weather condition, so that they will have enough food to stay hydrated.
Everybody, including the rich and the have-not, everybody is complaining, everybody is shouting. But my belief is that through the mercy of Allah, God will make things easy for us.
Muslim leaders in Osun State called on faithful to imbibe the spirit of compassion by supporting the needy.
We want to appeal to government to do everything humanly possible that they promise us to change the narrative. Their policies must be one that they guarantee security, that we make sure that people have health, and also trying to have education.
Today, as the first day of Ramadan, things are hard, things are tough for everybody, for Muslims and non-Muslims in the country. But for the fact that Allah is in control, we should base all our faith on Allah.
We all want Muslims to recite the Quran. Qiyamul Layli, that is standing in the middle of the night to observe the wafin in order to see the play of Almighty Allah.
Ramadan fasting is the fourth pillar of Islam, and it is mandatory for Muslims to fast for 30 days or 29 days during this month. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Similarly, following the commencement of the holy month of Ramadan, prices of fruits have continued to surge in Kano State. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that traders have attributed the price increase to the high cost of transportation occasioned by petrol subsidy removal.
Inside El Lemu market in Kano, varieties of fruits waiting to be transported to other parts of Kano State. But this year, unlike the previous years, traders say the price has more than doubled for obvious reasons.
Yanzu farashin su 100% ya karu.
The price this year has more than doubled because, like any other commodities, our own also is too expensive. One, it is scarce, and then another thing is because we have to pay a lot of money to transport this fruit to this market. High cost of transportation triggered by the petrol subsidy removal are some of the major reasons why the price keeps increasing almost on daily basis.
You
see, on daily basis, the price of fruit is also increasing like all other commodities. You know why? Because we are carrying this, like for orange, for example, we are carrying it from Benue to Kano here. Now look at the transport. The transport has tripled compared to what we used to pay last year. So we have to increase the price as well. But according to the Nigerian Fruit Sellers Association in Kano, the failure of governments to bring to an end the current high cost of living across the country also affected fruits and other essential commodities. You see, because government has failed to address the major problems of our people, like the issue of high cost of living, the issue of this petrol subsidy that increases the cost of transportation. All these reasons have come together to also complicate the price of fruit this year. And that is why, and the fruit are scarce. This is why people will have to buy it at a higher price. While Muslims continue to fast in the month of Ramadan, many residents are hopeful that fruits and other essential commodities consumed during this important period will be made affordable for the ordinary people across the country. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still ahead. Cleric Nigerians weigh balance between sponsored sermons and arms of Ramadan. We'll bring you insights and details of this story after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying. Now let's take a look at our top stories again. Senator Abdul Ningi backtracks on budget pardon claim as Senate sets up ad hoc committee to investigate public expenditure. Kaduna electricity staff embark on indefinite strike as power shortage continues. And now moving on to more stories. The Borno State Ministry of Education has directed primary and secondary schools to adjust their calendar and timing. State Director, School Services in the Ministry, Alhaji Mustafa Bukar, stated that the adjustment is because of the fasting period. According to him, all non-essential extracurricular activities should be discouraged throughout the duration of the Ramadan. He noted that holidays are scheduled to commence from Saturday, March 30 to Sunday, April 28. As Ramadan unfolds, Muslims in Nigeria are navigating a delicate balance between sponsoring religious programs on media platforms and fulfilling their duty to support the needy amid Nigeria's escalating cost of living crisis. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail engages with some Muslims, media stations and Islamic clerics to explore the significance of broadcasting religious programs on media platforms while emphasizing the importance of charitable giving to those in need. Here is his report.
The recitation of the Holy Quran and Tafsir holds significant rewards, particularly during the month of Ramadan. Likewise, providing sustenance to the needy is highly esteemed in Islam, carrying its own special rewards. However, with the current surge in food prices across the country, a debate has emerged regarding the allocation of funds designated for Islamic programs on radio and television during Ramadan. Some argue for redirecting these funds towards the distribution of food materials to the needy. Residents of Abuja interviewed by Trust TV expressed varying perspectives on this issue, reflecting the complexity of balancing religious obligations with the pressing needs of the community. With your smartphone, either at home, office or shop, anywhere you are, you can listen to Islamic programs. I don't support the motion of halting sponsorship of religious programs because of sharing food to the people.
Sudan, listening to the Malan, what the Malan was talk, is good to sit down and read. Only sit down and read Quran. You understand, ba? To sit for months and read Al-Quran. God reward you for that one.
While most of the respondents believe sponsorship of religious programs on media platforms are important, others emphasize the need to feed the needy to cushion the effects of the current cost of living crisis in the country.
If people are hungry, it will be difficult for them to even understand the concept of the Islam. So instead of rich men to use the money they have, billions or millions of naira, in going into
radio and television to propagate Islam. I'm not saying they should not do that, but they should use maybe greater percentage of that money to feed those masses.
Sponsorship of tafsir in the media is very important. There is a lot of reward for that. But the masses should be considered and be supported with food. Both the two are good. Broadcast stations who earn a lot of revenue from the sponsorship of religious programs say they also contribute their income to support families through payments of salaries to their staff who are members of the society.
Sponsoring tafsirs at media stations goes a long way because you're not just paying the station, but you're paying the staff of the station. Because if the station is paid, the staff of the station gets to eat.
Beyond the media debate surrounding the sponsorship of Islamic programs or channeling the money to support the needy, Islamic clerics say both are two sides of the same coin.
If you can do the two, it's better. It is about feeding. When you feed somebody, you are feeding him physically. But when you educate him and enlighten him, then you are feeding his soul.
Based on the insight provided by Islamic cleric Sheikh Nuru Khalid and the recent viewpoints of respondents, it becomes evident that by embracing this middle ground, it is possible to uphold both the principle of Islamic charity and the dissemination of religious knowledge via mass media channels. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Abuja.
We'll take it away from Nigeria now. Haiti Prime Minister Ariel Henry has resigned, signaling a significant development in the country's fraught political landscape. The move follows a gathering of Caribbean nations, United Nations representatives, and delegates from countries like France and the United States in Jamaica, aiming to find a solution to Haiti's pressing issues. However, Henry found himself stranded in Puerto Rico, unable to return to Port-au-Prince, where he engaged with CARICOM members remotely. The country faces escalating turmoil as criminal gangs tighten their grip on Port-au-Prince, controlling up to 90% of the capital. Haiti's political landscape has been marred by instability since the assassination of President Jovenel Moise in 2021, with no subsequent elections held since 2016. And now to sports story. Britain's Emma Raducanu was beaten in straight sets by Belarusian world number 2 Aryna Sabalenka in the third round at Indian Wells. Raducanu, who reached the fourth round in California last year, lost 6-3, 7-5 to two-time major winner Sabalenka as she continues her comeback. The 21-year-old, ranked 250 in the world, was a wild card at the tournament following an injury-disrupted 2023. Raducanu's second-round victory over Diana Yastremska, who retired with illness, was the first time the English player had recorded back-to-back wins since coming through 3 matches at Indian Wells 12 months ago. The Belarusian will next play America Imma Navarro, who beat Elena Svitolina of Ukraine 6-1, 4-6, 6-3. With that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Aisha Salihu. Join us again